TV, who are partners of Accord. Some of you, you know that you are now live on air, and the whole country is watching us. It would be very expensive for us as an institution and URGA to bring NTV here, but we have a partnership with the NTV. They are in local development with us, they are national development with us, they are in the development of Africa together. So they have subsidized this coverage. So I want you to give them a round of applause. Thank you very much, NTV management, for supporting us on this journey. I want also to thank our development partners, DGF, whose resources make it possible for Accord to traverse this country and to be able to work with the local governments to improve the quality of life of our people. We are in 30 districts. This local government scorecard initiative is in 30 districts around the country, well distributed, and we started in 2009, and now it is almost 6 years. I can assure you that Morris and colleagues, that for those districts, as we'll be hearing testimonies that are partners with us, where this assessment, the local government council scorecard initiative is taking place, we have seen a lot of improvement in the quality of debate of council, improvement in monitoring of service delivery, improvement in record keeping by the clerks to council, but also improvement in terms of confidence of councillors. And we think we at Accord, why we decided to go local, we knew that democracy is possible if it is built from below. So we are talking about bottom-up approach in building sustainable democracy. So this local government scorecard basically assesses performance of local government leaders, district level, and communicates their performance to the communities, to the electorate that elect him. The whole intention is to build that social contract so that the communities, the citizens, can hold our leaders accountable, and when we have strong local governments that are accountable to the citizens, then strong local governments will hold the central government accountable, and then we'll have that complete picture of democracy, and that democracy we think will stay. So thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Arthur with opening remarks, of course, showing the commitment we have towards the development of our local governments. I must say most of our discussion will really be pegged around the scorecard, the local government council scorecard assessment. And the latest, of course, having been last year's, the 2013-2014 report, we will, of course, be delving into details about this report and some of the findings in this report with the people on the panel. So when we refer to this report, please, if you can go onto the Accord website and find details. Let's quickly turn to the discussion, and it's only right that I mentioned, as Arthur said, that this is in partnership with the Uganda Local Government Association and, of course, the Democratic Governance Facility, which is DGF, key sponsors of this forum. All right. I want to begin with Speaker Arua, and I have to begin with you because as a host, it's only right that we start with your district and discuss issues that affect your district. You've been here for a couple of hours now, since yesterday, and clearly all of you have crafted, and many people may be wondering what is the handwriting behind the walls where these panelists are. And the reason we have it there is because this is what the councillors have been working on in the last few days, and they've raised some very key issues, challenges and solutions. But I want to begin with you, Speaker Sir. If you could quickly run us through what are those key challenges you as Arua are facing as a local council?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our moderator. First of all, I want to welcome NTV Uganda to Arua, the upcoming city. Thank you. This is the first time you are having a live debate in Arua, which is going to be the first rural city in Uganda. I am very grateful to host you. On behalf of the chairperson and our council, we are very grateful to have you here. And even our partners, the Accord, we also thank you for this opportunity that we never had for many years. I have been in this council, that we are here with you. Key challenges. You know, local governments are faced with numerous challenges. But out of these numerous, there are certain challenges that are very key to us as local governments, and Arua in particular. One of these is inadequate funding, which is the basic challenge in our local government of Arua. I can tell you, cite one key example in the water sector. Water, you know, is life. And where there is no water, there is no life. There is no production. There is no good time management. Arua, our budget for water this financial year is about 788 million. And this money can only drill from 20 to 22 deep boreholes, 6 springs, and 6 protected wells. But we are a district of 27 sub-counties, but 25 rural sub-counties. That means when you are making allocations, it is very obvious that about 2 or 3 sub-counties must be left out in our allocation. And that means the communities in those areas keep on suffering, drinking either ponds, drinking either valleys, and that means drinking worms and drinking malaria, you know, so many other things related to waterborne diseases. Number 2 key challenge is land conflict and border disputes. This has been a very big problem that has hampered our development in certain areas. You know, when there's conflict, you can't take very quick decision, even on a very simple matter, because you will live under suspicion, you will live under fear. Some people have been displaced. An example, we had a very serious conflict between Opia community and Pajuru in my sub-counties of Arivu and Vora. This is in Arua. And that conflict made so many people to leave their homes. That means production in that place also came to a standstill. No education. Children were running all around. I think that is a major issue among others. But the border issue, our moderator, is another very big issue that is, you know, challenging our district. We have conflict, a major conflict with some of our neighbors. And we've made attempts to dialogue, we have made attempts to present our case to our ministry, the mother ministry, local government, but up to now we have not got any effective feedback. An example is Ewanga. I think this country is aware that Arua district and Yumbe have conflict over Ewanga. Ewanga is supposed to be an operational sub-county in Arua from either 2009 or 2010. The approval was done in 2005, but up to now we can't move forward because of, you know, conflict over border. In education, we still have high rate of dropout, particularly in the lower primary. You have big enrollment in P1, P2, up to P3, but when it comes to P4, P5, and the worst is P7. And this hits more the girl child. From an enrollment of about 50 children in P5, you may end up with 15 or even less than 15 in candidate class. And this is because we still have challenges with the attitude of our parents, taking education as a serious business for future and for life and for the growth of this country and our communities. Without good education, we can't be sure that you are in danger of making decisions that can benefit the community. So that is one of the key issues in our place. In area of health, malaria that hits any other place is still a big problem in Arua as well. And this is more among the babies. You can be aware that our ministry, the Ministry of Health, gave us nets and free nets without any money. But our question is it put to use? That is our biggest question. Because in other areas, we have seen nets being used for fishing, for coding nursery beds. That means we have not got to understand the purpose of this net, which is meant to prevent us from this disease.
Yes, Speaker, and I'm sure you could actually go on and on. But one of the things I actually thought you would also help us with, for each challenge you've actually raised, it would have been interesting to say this is how the district has actually handled this particular challenge.
Yes.
In areas of water, areas of conflict, I know Arthur here is a conflict resolution expert. You should probably engage him separately on that. But when you're talking about education, what are those things as a district you have decided to do, whether without the support of government or with support of the government, in mitigating those effects?
Thank you, Moderator. Particularly in the area of education, we have had a number of meetings, stakeholders meetings. We organize purposeful meeting involving all our key stakeholders, beginning with the LC3 chairpersons of those sub-counties, our school management committees, PTAs. We had a meeting in the Jojoy Primary School, to be specific. We had a meeting in one of the schools in Aivu sub-counties. But there are a number of meetings that we had. And this is purposely to make stakeholders understand their various roles. Because in our communities, sometimes we think good service delivery is the responsibility of elected leaders, which is not correct understanding. Because as SMC, as PTA, as LC1, you have a big duty to play. You have a big role to play. And that has been our approach, to see that we come closer to these people, we come closer to our teachers, and encourage them, but not to coerce them. We have issues of absenteeism of our teachers, even sometimes the head teachers, who are supposed to be the first supervisors at those levels. But we encourage them to follow the rules, because we have rules, and there are procedures for us to discipline where somebody has gone past the advice you have given.
If we looked at the issue of the primary school dropouts, and you said after primary 3, you have high rates of school dropout.
Yes.
How have you actually involved now parents? Because clearly, what is the district's role now in trying to engage, like you mentioned, the stakeholders, who include parents of these children, in having these children go to school? And as a district, what is your stand?
We in 2008, we formulated education ordinance. I think in this region it was the first ordinance in place, although we have a few gaps of enforcement. But that is now our tool that we use, and we get to our leaders who are supposed to implement this ordinance to enforce. Because this dropout, we have identified predisposing factors. These issues of night discourse, issues of going for marriages involving the young people. You are going there for 3 or 4 days, dancing. You don't know what is happening. You must lose either 2 girls on top of the one who has been formerly married. So that has been our approach, to see how we can get our parents to understand the importance of girl-child education. Because the saying goes that educating a girl is educating the nation. And it is being proven. It is not a theory, but there is proof from many parents to that effect. Land conflict.
Yes, very quickly. Yes.
Land conflict, we have engaged communities into dialogue meetings. We have involved our elders into arbitration. And that has been a good basic method we have used. But for us as leaders, we have spoken one language, that we need peace. That we must calm down and follow procedures of handling conflict. Because fighting will not solve our issues. But sitting and understanding and even compromising where you want to maintain peace is very important thing. And that will be the case in our country, Uganda. Because if somebody goes, naked, that one doesn't solve any issue. But understanding how we can compromise and coexist is, I think, the most important thing. And that is our approach to that.
Thank you very much. I will come back to you because we still have issues around human resource capacity as a district. We have issues around financing, revenue. I'll come to you at some point. But I wanted to engage Honorable Jacqueline, if you could give her the microphone. As a woman councillor in Nebi, just help us understand, first of all, the key challenges and how you, as councillors in that district, have managed to overcome them.
Thank you so much, moderator. The protocol remains observed. As a woman councillor, on behalf of other colleagues who are members of the council, who are also witnessing the various challenges that we are going through as women leaders. The first one, which is so sensitive, is as a woman councillor, you are supposed to contest with a fellow woman for a particular sub-county when maybe it is large. But when maybe they have combined the two sub-counties together, you as a woman councillor, you must campaign in those 3 or 2 sub-counties. They will not even think about adding your allowance. Whether the council or the local government is giving the sitting allowance, the rate is the same, without considering that this is a female who already has problems, maybe from home as a mother. When she reaches here with the 3 sub-counties, what do we do for her? Those are problems. But now, as Accord is here, Accord is already marking the kind of work we are doing in our various sub-counties. Up to date, we have been complaining. We are overloaded with 2, 3 sub-counties as female. What do you do when you are marking the work we are doing at the grassroots? So it's a challenge. We also have in our various sub-counties where I'm representing Nebi Town Council and Nebi Sub-County. I'm a district councillor for those 2 places and also secretary for production in the district. Now, if there is a council session, Nebi Town Council would put council session on 23rd at 2 at Nebi Town Council headquarters. Nebi Sub-County will also do the same, as if they have been giving phone calls among themselves. I'm supposed to appear in those 2 venues. As a woman, what do I do? At the end of the day, you lose representing your people, and yet you have been elected to represent both. So it's a challenge. Despite the sizes of the constituency, we are trying our level best as female councillors, but on borders, at our own risk. You might fight to ride on your own, and going for a council session, you are not supposed to go in a trouser, but you are supposed to ride when you are safe, and you cannot ride with your long dress. So it is also a challenge. Some of these are the problems. The voters do not want to see you in a trouser. You put in a trouser, they call you a muyai. But for safety, you must ride when you are when you are not in a long dress. So that one is also a challenge to us as female leaders. Multi-party system, which is in Uganda. We have DP, we have UPC, we have NRM. Before this multi-party system came in Uganda, as mothers, we already had our problems. The female are dying during pregnancy. We have child mothers during birth, they're losing their lives. We have a lot of things. This is a young girl in primary, already pregnanted. She's going to produce a kid who is very weak because the blood is still weak. You must notice this. Now, after producing this kid, this is a girl who is not going to school. Maybe after 2 or 3 years, if she's lucky that she comes from a family that would consider, after taking care of the child, then she goes to school. But for others, they would say, stop here and remain here. So we have many of them. Now, despite the political parties we have, when NRM is speaking, I am an NRM, I'm an FDC, I am a movement. Look at a woman or look at the fellow women behind. Are they dying? Are only the NRM dying? Are only the DP dying? Or those are the women dying? What do we do as women? So it's a challenge. Multi-party system has divided us. We no longer see our problems as mothers. That is also a challenge. There is also no proper law in place. Majority of these female councillors you see we are becoming of layers. It's hard to produce because, I have the reasons, because when you go to council and you have a small baby, you are not allowed to breastfeed the kid in council. And there is no law in place. If I'm lying, the female councillors are here. They don't allow you to breastfeed in a council session, and there is no space that has been put to breastfeed these children or to change as a mother. At the end of the day, when you produce a child, you give birth to a child, you must put your kid at the veranda. Where are we going? Is this not a challenge? Should we produce our children and leave them at the verandas? Or we plan so that these mothers cannot fear giving birth to children? I also have an issue of higher positions. You can see, as we speak now, there is only one woman and there are 5 here on the seat. This is already a sign. This is already a sign that in leadership, out of 6, we shall always be 1. So let us work hard to work as a team, as women, so that we would be 50%. Those are some of the problems. When you look at the members of parliament, we have women there, but a woman who is representing a district must speak for the whole district. But we have counties in those districts where they send the mail for a constituency. This is a man who has enough time for leisure. And this is a mother who has domestic problem. You come late, the man is on your neck. The children are crying. You breastfeed. You make them to bathe. The office is on your neck with very big area. Now, how do we perform? All these are challenges. Further still, members.
Yes. I hope we can also provide solutions along the way.
Yeah.
I know you've raised key challenges.
Exactly.
How are we going around these challenges?
One.
Yes.
I want to begin with this issue of the constituency where women are overloaded. I feel as a woman councillor that this law must be reviewed. If we can have one constituency per person, whether we are competing with the male, no problem. Because already the citizens of Uganda, their eyes are open. They all know that whether this area, if this area needs maybe a leader to come in, they can even vote. They will not think that this is a woman or a man. They'll vote depending on your capacity, on how you lead your people.
But are we that politically mature? Let me quote something from the scorecard, the 2013-2014 scorecard, which sampled 30 districts. And of the 30 districts, only 2 are represented by women. And that clearly shows a huge disparity. Do you actually believe men out there in the several other districts would elect women in those council positions, including chairpersons?
In all those districts, you see, those are some of the things we are trying to work hard so that we can remove them out of this country, Uganda. First of all, when advert is made that it's time for election, people are supposed to go and pick nomination papers, you see women rushing only for those interest forms where women are competing, not knowing that where men are going, we are also supposed to go. For me, I want to be an example in my district. This time, I was very comfortable on my seat where I am, but take it from me, I'm going for mayorship. That is a stiff competition where the men are going to compete. It is a very new municipal given. I'm just going to lead there while waiting because there will be an MP to parliament. When it comes, I'm also going to go with them live. I'll check on them one-on-one.
All right, you are still helping us with some solutions, yes.
Yeah. Then another solution that I would also give, more especially for the girls, you know, more especially in West Nile, when you look at the dropout rate of the girls in school, level of pregnancy, it's almost going high every day. To me, I feel that the NGOs who are in this country, the organizations who are really looking at education of the, more especially of the girl child, should have special attention because it is something very serious. When you go year in, year out, the religious leaders are speaking about it, cultural, councillors, MPs and the rest. How much we talk to these girls, there is no change. The level of early pregnancy is rising day and night. I would say that even the members of parliament, that's why, to me, when I look at the parliament which is coming ahead, it's going to be full of young people with reasons, because there are really problems that are affecting these young people, where the young people feel like tackling one-on-one. So I feel that really the government must also put a law, and it should be done by the Parliament of Uganda, by these members of Parliament, a law which is so tight where someone would not tamper with these girls. Because the very people who are educated, you'd get even a teacher defiling a girl. You'll get even maybe a headmaster, even a district councillor in some area. Somebody who knows the policy is going to define. A husband going to rape a house girl. Now what is this? Am I lying? Are they not happening with us? So what do we say? The law must come in place so that some of these things can be corrected very fast.
All right, thank you very much. I know we will continue this discussion, and you might be having some other issues to raise, but I thought we would share with a colleague from Wakiso, and I think, Chairman, it is your turn to share with us your experience. And the reason you're really chairman on this panel is that you have continuously, in the last 3 scorecards, excelled according to the scorecard. But you, as a council, you still have challenges. But you must be having solutions to some of the challenges they've raised. There's the issue of education. There's the issue of children and women. Yeah. How do we address some of these challenges, if you want to give us a case study from Wakiso?
Okay, thank you very much, Maurice, and a colleague for that matter. Distinguished participants and viewers in various capacities. Protocol observed. I'm Matia Luangabwanika, and I happen to be the chairperson of Wakiso District, and which is seceded from my colleague of Mpigi, who is also present, the chairman of Mpigi. And okay, to go straight to the point before I give the profile of the district, I would hand in hand face maybe the same challenges with my colleagues, but again, as a matter of mitigations, for instance, there is one critical issue which my fellow politicians fail to address, which is, a tendency of manipulating the people we are leading, always politicking. And we have failed to address issues of community service because of fearing, for votes. And inadequate funding is a general problem, but what we have done in Wakiso, we always tell the citizens of their responsibilities. For instance, if you construct a road, you have 23 sub-counties, and there are some few, maintenance issues which can be manned by the community, meaning that the next financial year will be serving another sub-county. But because we always fear to tell the citizens to be responsible for these activities, you'll find that the same road is spoiled within a fraction of a period, and the money will never be enough, because now we will be concentrating on the same problem always. That's one issue. Then another issue of the high dropout of UPE. Again, we politicize the UPE policy. When I joined the district, I found the RDC arresting head teachers who had sat
GoTV moment. Watch all your favorite entertainment on GoTV. Enjoy Ebiindi on Z World, Ebi Nigeria on Africa Magic Family, Africa Magic World, and Africa Magic Epic, and sports on Super Sports Select 1, Super Sports Select 2, and Blitz. Renew your GoTV monthly subscription. Pay 28,000 Uganda shillings for GoTV Plus and get over 32 local and international channels, or pay 20,000 Uganda shillings for GoTV Value and get over 20 local and international channels.
GoTV, live it, love it.
He has got the talent, he's created chart toppers, and has a cool name to go with it.
I went forth and released another joke over. I love to inspire. I'm not a star, I'm just a rising star. I'm not a star, I'm just a rising star.
We could do this all night.
What show just won Best Entertainment Program?
Log in for the glitz and glamour of Kampala's most flamboyant people and events.
It's my time!
I'm here today for Coco Fingers video shoot.
Big up NTV, thanks for the support. Log in, do another runs the Kokakasa.
We can smash the clock, make the pop go rock. Be the love this
You're Golfy and you're watching Login.
Don't touch that dial, you know what I'm saying. It's Login.
We could do this all night. We could do this all night. Today is the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. You are the one true God. How great is our God.
Surrounded by the favor of the Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus came to set you free and to be free indeed.
In life, you don't wait. Yeah. There are certain times where you wait for certain decisions, but when it comes to taking action and choices, you have to move.
Jesus Christ found me, and he actually asked me a question, whether I wanted to live or to die.
Every day of my life was struggling. It's just that God has given me this kind of hope.
GXP every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station.
You don't have to look any further. Get online and you'll get any property.
It's all about joinery. How best do you give a tree a very good second life?
Because there's already development happening around.
Say, for example, carpets. Pick luxurious carpet and you say, I've got to have a carpet wall-to-wall in my house. But we're a hot country.
Welcome to the Property Show, where we make real estate sense.
Welcome to Cinema Blitz. It's the one-stop show that brings you the latest movies in high dimension and 3D. My name is Patrick, taking you through this awesome experience. Movies on genetically engineered killing machines have been all the rage from the last 2 decades. The display of calmness, fighting precision, and a gunfire has kept audience thirsting for more action. If you watch the movie Hitman, then you know what Agent 47 can do for you. Now, the hunt is on for the maker of these elite assassins. Nothing beats a battle scene with a 3D action laced with slow motion. From the makers of Kingsman, you remember that the Secret Service and Taken 3, Liam Nason comes in as a kick-ass science flick that will make you not even stay at your home there. Come watch this movie here at Cinema Magic, Nalia.
I know you don't have any reason to trust me, but you're in danger.
What do I have to do?
Run!
Do you remember the day they took you?
We were part of the same program. They want what's inside our DNA. The speed, the intelligence, strength.
Okay, untie me.
You're the same as me. So untie yourself.
Tell me how to make an agent.
You don't want an agent. You want an army. They are the key to everything.
The gift is not just surviving. You see everything.
Run.
We're gonna burn this program to the ground. I always close my contracts.
In 2005, Fantastic Four came to the silver screen, an adaptation from the Marvel Comics. We got to watch Jessica Alba as Sue Storm and 3 other astronauts use their newly acquired superpowers to save the Earth from destruction. Well, these characters are back again.
Dr. Storm, we gave you 6 years and millions of dollars, and you gave us nothing. What's different now?
Reed Richards. All I want to know is where are my children?
4 have survived. All exhibit unique physical conditions.
I just want to fix my friends. You can't fix this.
You should use these powers to help people.
You opened a door you don't know how to close. You don't know anything about what's coming.
What is coming?
Doom.
If you want to stop him, it's going to take everything you have.
How long until he's in?
2 minutes.
For more movies like this, come down to Cinema Magic for the best experience in 3D. My name is Patrick. Catch you next time on Cinema Blitz.
News Updates is brought to you by Salolin. Color your world.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, yeah.
With the delay of the government to release the funds
to the districts. One, we have the bureaucracy of the procurement, where, for example, the government send money in May, and the financial year is ending in June. And they send circulars that all the unspent balances must be taken back to the treasury. You might find out all the money brought to the district in the fourth quarter is considered as unspent balance. We take back that money to the treasury. We had it in our budget. We shall not spend that money. What do you expect us to perform as districts? Money for the whole quarter, you take it back as unspent balance. You are not authorized to use that money, and you will never know what is being used with that money. That is a major roadblock or hindrance in our performance as the local governments. Wakiso, we have so many issues we've put in place to see that we perform. For example, in schools, we are the best performing school in Uganda. Just because we work as a team, we are not bosses at the district level. You might find out a secretary for education and health at the same time working with the technocrats. For us, we are not bosses at Wakiso, but we work as a team. And our motto is what, Robert? Together we win. I wanted to see whether they still remember that motto. Together we win. And in health, by the time we came at the district, we thought that all health workers were thieves. And that is what is the outcry of the whole country, especially those who are not in leadership. But we have worked with all our health workers. We've helped them. We have considered them in our budgets. Another problem we have as politicians, we only look at our facilitation. But when there is, you have health workers in hard-to-reach areas, there is no way you can retain them there. You have to consider them in your budget. For us in Wakiso, we are doing that. We are not only thinking about our facilitation, though we are badly off, but we think about our communities first. Finally, locally raised revenue. For us, we have a saying, all the technocrats, their mother is one. If you go to Arua, if you go to Wakiso, they are delivered by one parent, and we don't know that parent. But they hide information. For us, we have tried our level best to go on the ground. We have formed up teams in our council where we have councillors and technocrats. We go to the communities and we look for our locally raised revenue. We started when it was 2 billion, and now we are approaching, I think, 4 billion as locally raised revenue from the district. We have so many to tell you, but I think let me first stop there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I only thought it was right because chairman could have left out one or two things, and clearly his colleague has supported him. If you're just joining us and you're watching, this is a live broadcast of the first multi-district forum, local government forum here, coming to you live from Arua District Hall. And we are discussing matters local government, and with us, of course, district leaders and, of course, government representation and civil society. I want to take the question now to the Honorable Norbert Mao. You were chairman before, and you clearly went through the same as chairman of the district. And you willingly let go of the seat and said, I have bigger ambitions, bigger than my district itself. And we wanted to know, because these councillors before us and chairpersons are facing, are probably in the same seat you are several years ago. Just help us understand some of their challenges and how they should be actually addressing them.
Thank you, Morris, and fellow panelists, dear friends. In the years that I have been associated with local government, I note great strides in the quality of the leaders. The MPs may roast me, but I can say, on average, the local government seems to have better quality leadership than even the National Assembly. I see the Honorable Christine Abia nodding in agreement, or hopefully. Now, for purposes of this forum, we note that most of the districts here are the districts emerging from war and conflict. These are districts that have the burden of regulating all sorts of actors, including NGOs. I became famous for kicking out NGOs, actually, international NGOs. So, the one thing these leaders can do is to now ask themselves, for instance, how do we make it easy for a woman councillor to represent her people? There are some councillors who are shy. As chairman, I used to talk to some of the women and invite them to attend council regularly. I try to mentor them. It's very important. The world is unbalanced in terms of gender. Even Hillary Clinton is complaining. So you can imagine now, if you are a councillor in a sub-county, you are deeply in trouble. In our political circles, some of us had proposed that women elections should be based on party lists. What the women go through to get elected is traumatizing. They are sexually harassed, they are insulted, they may not have even the resources to compete effectively. So the women who win the elections are the women who are patrons in big places, and those patrons are men. So we thought, if you have a list, say 112, 111 or 112 seats for women, each party should present a list of its most qualified women. Then the seats are allocated according to the percentage of votes. That's what in DP we call proportional representation. You will see women professors going to that parliament, because some of the women that you see, the seat is for a woman, but surely you must win it before you go to parliament. Now, some of the women who are really brilliant think the hustle and bustle of winning that seat is beneath their dignity. So that is a creative proposal. And then we need to negotiate. I think the shortage of revenue is because local government is not a priority to the central government. Actually, local governments are like subcontractors to the central government. You don't have control of the architecture of governance. All that we used to do is what I would call interior decoration. Move this chair here, move this table here, but you cannot determine the size of the room, you cannot determine its location. So I think it is even a misnomer to call these governments, because to govern is to have decision-making capacity. The government ties our hands. The other thing is fighting corruption. I haven't heard anyone say it. Yesterday, in a very effective session, a councillor told us that he also used somebody else's company to get a tender from his own district. And he said, you know, I have to survive. Now, that survival mentality is an undue tax on the public revenue. So, the answer is first and foremost to be exemplary. There's no way a district chairman or a mayor will reprimand a chief finance officer or a district engineer for meddling in contracts. The engineer only has to say, Mr. Chairman, I also sorted out your things, so don't complain too much. The only way to fight corruption at all levels of our politics is through personal example. I believe very strongly in that. I also propose that the unity of the local governments is important. There are some battles you can't fight alone. You may be as big as Wakiso, But on your own, you may not go far. It is better to congregate. My successor, Martin Mapinduzi, formed the Acholi Local Government Forum so that they can talk about oil. How can one district talk about oil? You can't. But if you are 7 districts, the government will listen to you. So there is need for effective advocacy. And one of the issues I would like to put on the table to our leaders of local government is to fight for a definite percentage of the national budget to go to local government. 30% would not be a bad start. Then you will stop doing interior decoration. You will now determine whether this year it is roads. So we don't even do budgeting. All we do is just allocation, actually. It is like the way I give pocket money to my children and then tell them this is for the pencil, this is for the book. He may be happy with the money in his pocket, but he's going to do what I have told him to do. So he will never learn about taking decisions. I do believe that a definite allocation from the central government to the districts will help. It will be like in South Africa. When I was chairman of Gulu and also later as a member of the executive committee of Uganda Local Government Association, we did some field studies. Lastly, fellow leaders, especially local government leaders, don't look only at government. There are other revenue sources. You can form strategic partnerships. One time we approached the autonomous province of Bolzano in Italy, and they started giving us an average of 200,000 euros every year, which we could do with whatever we wanted. We also stormed the European Union and told them concrete ideas. Sometimes there are gaps in the district. Use your platform as a chairman or a speaker to lobby. We were able, for instance, to get a church to donate equipment to the hospital. Gulu didn't have an X-ray, a mere X-ray. Government was not willing. We lobbied for it. We also lobbied a church to help us with city planners. I congratulate Arua. I just want to tell you that Martin Mapinduzi is a step ahead because Gulu City is already planned. We brought 400. We bought city planners from Australia at a cost of about $400,000, which we didn't have to pay. They planned the city very well. I would ask the chairman of Gulu to share the plan, and you also share your plan with those aspiring cities. We never had a generator in Gulu. They were carrying out surgery using candles and torches on telephones. We had to lobby for that. It was so difficult. So I'm just telling you, step out of the box. If your only response to a problem is to write to the minister and to the PS, it is problematic. Actually, next time, this forum should go to Parliament. Let us have now, this is a multi-district local government forum. Let's now have a national forum on local governance and bring the members of Parliament also. When they are campaigning, they speak in hyperboles. I will do this, you wait and see. I will do this, I will do this. They can even promise a bridge where there's no river. But once they reach there, how many MPs have actually asked even a question on local governance? How many have moved motions? But also, since yesterday, I've learned that the MPs and chairpersons don't relate well, because these days, chairpersons are aspiring to go to Parliament. So in the absence of teamwork, the district suffers. And when I was chairman, I did my best to reconcile the district. The resource envelope is small. People have very big ambitions. And in my case, I had the Colonel Walter Ochora, who had lost the election to me. Then he was appointed RDC. The first thing he did was to send operatives in every department. My first challenge was to kick them out. Then they were demanding for fuel very regularly from the cow. I had to stop that. Then I went for peace talks with him. By the time my term of office ended, we were the best of friends. I think as a chairman, you must learn to work with everyone. I had only one Democratic Party council member. I like what our chairman of Wakiso has said here. He knows these are NRM, but if you're NRM but you care about Wakiso, then you can be part of his team. Because the test is not your political color. The test is your commitment to serve the people. And I do believe that from my own experience, I think local government is a very important player in bettering the lives of our people. Except that the central government is now re-centralizing most of the things. Fisheries has been re-centralized. Now the local governments are being told they must bank with Bank of Uganda compulsorily. I hope our MP will go and make some noise there. The agricultural sector, veterinary services are being re-centralized. So you need to come together and demolish that, the clawback. Because the principle of decentralization is that a decision should be made at the lowest possible level. I think even those who have housekeepers, you don't determine what they should shop. You have a general budget and they determine. Now, in this situation, the decisions are being made in Kampala, and I hope the representative of the ministry will say something about it. As chairman, I became notorious for quarreling with PSS. And I said, who are you to say you are directing me? Direct the council to direct me. You can't direct me. So I think there's that tug of war between local governments and the ministry. And so it is important when you're a chairman to stand your ground also once in a while. Most people think when you are an LC5 chairman, whatever the minister writes, it is a fact. Sometimes you have to fight. In Gulu, the budget for the Gulu market was cut by 30%. When Chairman Mapenduzi called me, I told him this is unacceptable. Where are they taking the money? So we went to do research and found that actually the budget had been cut. We were going to get a much smaller market. So we had to start activities. It doesn't mean you are disloyal to the government, because the way those in NRM are intimidated is that's what the president wants. But the president is not infallible. He may also be wrong. So we had to all come together. So I urge you to make sure you have allies all over the place, in parliament, retired citizens, political party leaders, because we also have personal relationships with the decision makers in Kampala. There are some people who are happier to talk to me than to fellow NRMs. So using that coalition of forces, you will be able to get your needs met without antagonism.
Thank you very much. And if you could hand over the microphone to Mr. Walala. I thought it would be nice, before I introduce the other chairpersons who are here with us, to raise one or two issues around local governance in their communities, that we engage the ministry itself. And you've listened in, including finally from Norbert Mao, who asked that the councils and districts should step out of the box, which box means government's contribution to those districts. There were several issues raised. You have issues around human capital in local governments. You have issues around the whole idea of the moratorium on new districts. And now we hear that has been removed, and you're going to create another 19 in what, 4 years? Reform of the Local Government Act. Would you want to share with us some of the actions going forward?
Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, panelists. Good evening, all. Before I come to those two specific questions that you raised, I think let me start by making a comment on what Honorable Mao raised about thinking outside the box. I think world over, even the US, they sometimes have challenges of inadequate funding. That's a fact. In Uganda, the central government has challenges of inadequate funding. So equally, local governments will have challenges of inadequate funding. But the fundamental question that we normally encourage local governments, political leadership and technocrats, is how do we utilize the little that we get to ensure that the sustainability in the investments that we make? Two, what are the priorities of local governments? Because this argument of we need additional funding for local governments raised up to 30%. Actually, the ministry carried out a study and we made a recommendation which is still subject to approval after discussions in a number of different areas. But if we don't address the question of the priority and frugality in the spending, we shall continue talking about inadequate funding. The priorities of the local governments are very key in the sense that if a local government is talking about capital investments and another one is talking about recurrent or consumptive expenditure, it becomes a challenge for the one that's spending on consumption to be at the same level of development with that one that is talking about capital investments. I can give you an example where you get a budget of a local government where among the priorities is to buy the state-of-art VX Land Cruiser for the chairman. And you cannot challenge that because it's a priority of the local government, and they'll give reasons as to why they think that's very key. You find another one is talking about opening these roads that go to those areas where they're producing a lot of maize and it's not reaching the market at the right price or the market price. Naturally, the one that is actually investing in more production is going to be better off a few years later. That's why you find when you move around the country, even if you just look at the local governments that have not been in war, you find that some of the new local governments are doing far, far better than the old local governments. There's one I don't want to mention for fear of bad publicity. In this local government that is as old as over, I think, 30 years, there is no decent restaurant. No decent restaurant. No decent drinking either water or soda or whatever joint in that district. The question is why? Are we saying there is inadequate funding for that? So I think, yes, these are the challenges that we have, but I think we need to think outside the box. Peer learning is one of them. When we visit a local government that's doing well, we need to be asking, how have you overcome this challenge? And maybe we can also try it out in our local governments and we move on. We are encouraging local economic development. We need to change the mindset of managing local governments as spending entities. They should be looked at as production entities so that the masses can be able to get money and get out of poverty. Otherwise, if we continue seeing the mushrooming betting centers in trading centers where the youth wake up in the morning to go and start betting, we cannot expect much from such local governments. Now, my directorate, which is of inspection and investigations, when you go to local governments, we emphasize inspection with a view of trying to find ways of coaching, mentoring, and supporting local governments transform or overcome the challenges. We don't normally like going in there to find problems so that the players are sanctioned. Now, obviously, if we encounter cases of fraud, that's a different matter. But when we are supervising the local governments, we want to encourage supporting them to acquire skills that they can be able to utilize to transform these local governments. One of the things we've been challenging and encouraging them to do is the very good working relationship between the three leadership organs, if I may use the word, at the apex: the RDC's office, the chairperson, and the cow. In local governments where you find these three parties working very, very well, they always come up with very innovative ideas of how to move the district or the local government forward. Where you find infighting, the chances are that you are going to find the council divided because the cow will have some councillors who are his, like, political godfathers there. The chairman will have technocrats who are his informers in the technical wing. The RDC will use both councillors and technocrats. Then you find total chaos in a local government. And all the time they were been fighting. So sometimes when we say the funding is not adequate, we don't go deep and find out how much money did we expend this financial, and what is the output that we are, and the outcome. Yes, that might be. Just recently, I had a request to the government to the cabinet. So how does your local government benchmark with Japan? You see, they are high tech in technology. They produce cars, electric trains, and so are you going to produce the same in your local government? No, but I think we can learn. Now you can even see the output is there, but what's the outcome out of that expenditure? Naturally, yes, you can say we went to Japan for exposure, but what kind of exposure? So I think even the planning, the priorities have to be made right. And that's why, Honorable Mao, the issue of recentralizing is being actually gotten out of context. Because we've had challenges where we have a role to guide local governments. But sometimes you realize that actually their priorities are not right, and you want to intervene and guide. But because of a number of reasons, some of the players don't want to listen. They want to think that it's their ultimate right and power to do so. We've had challenges where you go to a local government and they're in council and they're moving a motion to throw out a government program. And you say, but you don't have those powers. And you are being reminded that, by the way, we are a government of our own and you cannot interfere. You say, yes, it's a fact actually. Your local government is the government. But then do you have to act outside the law? And if they try to pass it and the cow says, no, I'm not going to implement this, the next thing you hear, the cow is not implementing lawful resolutions of council. We hereby resolve to fire the cow and appoint so-and-so John Walala as our cow. You say, but even that one is illegal. Oh, you see the PS is supporting these technocrats. And so I think we need to continuously engage one another, and as you said, resolve these differences, because we are there in the interest of ensuring that these local governments grow. Now, once we appreciate that simple fact, then the issue of recentralizing will not arise. I think two cases that have been really used to justify that government is recentralizing. One is transferring the chief administrative officers. Now, and I'm sure Honorable Mao, you remember this, that before they were being used like they not go to school and they don't have the brains. You get a list from the leadership, political leadership, saying these are the people that we want you to appoint in these jobs. And you say, but Chairman, this is against the law. Then we go to council and we sort out your fate. Yes, that was the case. We want X number of tenders for these people. That's against the law. Then the cow was supposed to be fired. So ever since they came to the center, I think there is some sort of sanity in as far as some of these things are concerned. We still have challenges, but I don't think they are as big as they were before. But these cows still report to council. They are actually accountable to council. Operationally, in terms of appointment and reporting requirements to the center, yes, they report to the permanent secretary. But by and large, I think they are your staff, so I don't see any problem with that. Now, specifically for transferring, what we are saying, transferring banks to the central bank, that's not decentralization as such. It's more of an administrative arrangement of optimally managing our resources. If you are given money in quarter one, 2 billion, you are given additional funds in quarter two, 3 billion, quarter four, quarter three, it was difficult for anyone to know whether that money is sitting idle on your account. Now it's very easy for someone at the center to check that Arua received X amount of money in quarter one. End of quarter one, you've not utilized it. So, if you don't utilize it, then show us cause as to why we should not get it back and put it in the areas where we don't have money. And two, why would you ask for more funds if you've not actually implemented activities for quarter one? Three, you have to explain whether really you are efficient and effective, if not, whether you are both. The other fundamental one, as a government, you know there is sometimes borrowing, domestic borrowing, from Bank of Uganda. Why would you borrow funds from a neighbor if within your house, your wife has resources here, one of your sons has resources here? Does it make sense? Put the resources known to everybody so that you spend them as and when they are required. So I think the issue of recentralizing accounts, I've looked at, because initially when it was proposed, I looked at critically. I do not have any problem with it because they are not managing the accounts. They are saying accounts should be in a place where you are the signatories. Everything remains the same. The only place that you have your accounts is Bank of Uganda, so that we can monitor liquidity and frugal management of resources that we have in the country. Now, one thing that I want just to clarify is that government is not actually killing local governments. Government is supporting, is promoting the way local governments do business. Now, I do not know whether we in the local governments ever sit down and appreciate that we are actually government. Because you go to number 4 and then you see people pointing at you people in government. Then you ask, what are you? Government is local government. I want to know which entity in Uganda is local government. Maybe this here, which is also a local government of sorts, because it looks like a local government, it behaves like one. In a few cases, it's not one, but every part of Uganda is part of a local government. So we are government. So I think what we need to be doing is asking ourselves, what can we do to resolve these challenges that we are facing? I think that's key. Because quite a number of times, wherever we go, even amongst ourselves in government at the center, this ministry accusing the other ministry, I think that cannot take us far. We need to be looking at solutions, and I'll be happy by the time we leave here to go away with what we've agreed to do as part of the challenges that we're identifying in our discussion this afternoon. The other thing that I wanted to correct is that technocrats hide information. I would say we've had challenges in local governments for one reason or the other surrounding communication. And as a government, we've tried to address the issue of information flow, like in the financial area. We have what we call information management, integrated financial management system, which is basically managing the financial transactions in local governments. And it's a very transparent, robust, very fast system where anyone can log on the system and see the transactions that are going on. But because now the system has very tight controls, anyone who doesn't understand it is bound to imagine that there is information that's being hidden there. Because in the past, as we were operating the manual systems, there used to be challenges over, if we don't have the money, we can commit, incur expenditure, and pay as and when the money comes in. Now, you must commit. So it has tighter controls that were there, but were being flouted under the manual systems. So I think there is no, if we get a local government, and if you have one, we are more than willing to come in and ask why this information is not given to you, because it's by law that some reports are supposed to be produced and given to council through the chairman. And I think that's being done. Whenever we get complaints about, cows who are not producing those reports, we come in very fast to ensure that the chief administrative officers comply. The last one that I would want to comment about is human resource capital. I think around HR issues, there are really bigger challenges. Because it's not just the question of the numbers, it's also the attitude of us, the public servants.
And the quality too.
Quality, yes and no, because I don't think there is any human resource that you can say is not quality. It depends on what processes you take through that human resource to ensure that they measure up to the job. That's why you have interns, because you're not going to get a CFO that has all the required competencies in local governments produced at the university. They have to go through the system. But still, the management of these resources in the local governments also has its own challenges, where you are talking about other attendant factors over the culture, over commitment, the culture of prompt reporting, the culture of accurate reporting. All those have been there, but we are story by story addressing the challenges. A few years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, quite a number of local governments had qualified financial reports. As we talk now, about 70% have unqualified. Unqualified means that they are clean reports, according to the General's report. I think that's an improvement. So as long as we are moving in the right direction, we should be happy and we should be asking what additional initiatives do we take to ensure that we attain our desired goals. I think that would be the best way to go forward.
There's the whole notion that you've actually not created attractive conditions for Ugandans to want to work, say, in hard-to-reach areas, maybe in northeastern Uganda. So there are no attractive conditions to actually allow several people to apply for those jobs. So you have a district, and I think through the scorecard, if I can go through the scorecard, you'll find some districts only have up to 50% staffing levels. 50%, meaning half of their staff is actually not there. So how do you expect that district to effectively work?
I think that is also an attitude issue, with due respect. We have people that have mindset that you cannot easily change, even at the ministry. I have one good example that I can give you right now. From the time I've known him, maybe you can stand up, Mr. Dansan Balaba. Yeah. Yes. That gentleman is the Chief Administrative Officer of Ajumani. Ajumani.
Yes.
Yeah, he can go to Moyo. You see now people are vying
want him in Moyo. Okay.
Now, ever since he started working in the local government, whichever station he goes to, he goes there without saying it's really remote. He was moving from Chibale. And a year also into the new station, the people in that area will say, we don't want this man to leave. Yeah? But there are others. When you move them from Kampala to Kalangala, where people pay a lot of money to go and visit over a weekend, they say, I'm finished. That's an attitude issue. Now, the duty is ours, the onus is on us, to encourage these youngsters to actually go and work in these places. I have one of my nieces who was just graduated as a doctor. When she came to me and said she wanted a job, I told her the job that I can try for you is in Moroto, in Karamoja. She's never been there. Are you willing to go? She said, why Karamoja? I said, but Karamoja is part of Uganda. I've been there, and these are good people, and the place is nice. As I talk right now, she's in Moroto. I saw last week, and she says she's happy. She doesn't want to leave Moroto. So which area is hard to reach? When you talk about Bundibujo, the roads have been worked on. Actually, you drive from Kampala and in the evening, and you go and spend a night in Bundibujo. Lamuo is a place that is accessible. I've been there many times. There is no place that, as far as I'm concerned, that's not really hard to reach. You can take a few hours, but I think there is nothing like, we don't have staff here because it's hard to reach. It's more of an attitude issue.
All right, Mr. Walala, we'll come back to you because clearly there are more concerns. I thought I would engage the chairpersons. Let me begin with the chairperson of Mpigi. The microphone is there. Feel free to stand next to Norbert Mao there and share with us your own experience. You've listened in. I'm sure you agree. In some areas you might disagree with the other chairpersons. Yes.
Thank you so much, Maurice. Good evening, viewers, and all of you here in your respective capacities. I would like to substantiate to what Chairperson Wanika was saying, and maybe more elaborate on what President General DP was saying about changing chairs in a room. I want viewers to be clear that what we are talking about here is the conditionality of funds that we get. We may not necessarily complain about little resources from the center, but the conditions that are being set to these funds are making us very bit redundant as local governments. In the case of Mpigi, we have a budget of 19 billion, 0.6, and 17.2 is conditional money. And when people are looking at us, sometimes they confuse us to be also fountains of honor. You see, there is a fountain of honor. He's the president of the district. They think that you can be able to change this money, address this issue, but in cases even of where pit latrines are sunken in, you find yourself, your hands are tied because of the conditionality of funds. This is the worst challenge that we are having in local governments. We have tried to come forward to address these issues in many meetings, but nothing is yielding results. Similarly, what is challenging local governments is that when you move outside the box to look for local revenue, what is disappointing to note is that political pronouncements also come to kill what you have initiated as local governments. It is also challenging. You say we are putting this to add on our local revenue, then a colleague from parliament says, who told you to handle that? That is not allowed. You can see how they are frustrating local governments. I think, as the Honorable Mao was saying, that we should do, at one time, maybe a code should bring us together, members of parliament, local governments, and we'll share some of these challenges. Because we talk at different wavelengths, and that's very confusing. I would like also to agree with Ndugu Bwanika that decentralizing funds, as the Commission agenda, Director agenda, what I was saying, we may not really complain about the system, but my concern as chairman local government in PG is the way programs are brought abruptly. You imagine we had been having this docket of spending at 30th June, but there was a laxity to spend up to 30th of September. But under Treasury single account, PS Treasury just writes to you, all unspent balances by 30th return to the consolidated fund. We had budgeted some of this money to be used under, if it is education, there is this return fund. You have calculated your period to get for education, and the PS return of them. Why can't we transition and say, from this year to this year, we shall handle this single account, and we get ourselves prepared? I committed to Mr. Kasai. I'm not in for saying it is bad, but it is broad. Why be abrupt like that? Local governments, as if we are, you push this here, then push this here. Let me give you a scenario which is challenging local governments. That was made by the Minister of Health. We completed it. We had successful candidates, but we were don't give them appointment letters. Hold on. Wage bill does not cater for that. Now, who is confusing who? Public service is telling us, don't give appointments. Minister of Health, don't give appointments. Then you have already told us to make adverts. We have recruited. You can see the way we are now. The government is confusing us, and we are on the ground. We are called governments. I think it's right to say that we are not yet to. We should not be called governments. Maybe it should be called something else. But for me, I console myself by saying, because they call us local, and maybe that's why we are local like that. And lastly, I would like to thank ACORD, because the government has been doing a lot of assessment, national assessment teams. Some of us chairpersons get actually concerned when we get penalties, but we also get concerned when we get rewards and we don't receive rewards. They say you are rewarded and you wait for the reward and don't see the reward. then you wonder what's the meaning of that word, reward. But when it is unqualified opinion, it is unqualified opinion. And we must go and answer bitterly in Parliament. So I think even those issues should be rightly addressed. If we are to get reward, then we should get rewards. What I was trying to put forward was that Accord has really opened our eyes. And we must commend you for this. Accord has opened our eyes. If we could even get more funding. Already I was telling Collins yesterday that local governments that are under Accord, even when the national assessment team comes from the center, by the way, these days we are doing very well. Because we are now in for it. We know they will come and assess our technical team, and before they even come for that briefing, some of us politicians attend, and we tell them, but here, for me, even a method of telling them, you should not wait for assessors to come and tell me, chairman, sign here. I went to a chairman whom I found signing files of mints that you see the assessment team is coming. So he was putting on signals like, I said, you man, you'll be caught off guard. Some of these things might have been held on Sundays. You check on the dates. But for us who are good, these days we are perfect. We know how to handle issues. And I would wish the minister would also come on board. The way they assess the cows. I'm happy my cow told me at the time that it was properly assessed. And he got good marks. But some of us even don't know of how cows are assessed. But the cows know how Accord assesses us. I would wish to know also that the force would also be given to us. And we say, our cow here, you are right, maybe we can improve here and we move together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting. I'll come back because the issue of the scorecard, the government scorecard with the cows, we asked for it before. We are interested also as media houses. We are very interested, but it rarely comes. So, Mr. Walala, please help. I am now requesting, because we must assess these cows. There was a district where we went. Again, this was, I think, during the decentralization, local government decentralization day. And there was questions around rotation of some of these cows. He's a thief in one district. Instead of firing him, you move him to another district. And you expect things to change. And unfortunately, he also continues doing what he was doing the other side. You move him to another place. That was raised, so it would be nice for you to address that. Please give him the microphone. Just to, we wanted you to answer some of the concerns the chairman raised.
What I can say, Morris, is that we don't transfer thieving, or we don't transfer staff on account of indiscipline or on account of committing an offense. Transfers are routine. They are provided for under the standing orders. When we get a complaint about fraud, about theft of any staff, cow inclusive, they are thoroughly investigated. Now, once they are found innocent, they will be cleared and they will be deployed accordingly. Now, the challenge that we have, and actually also partly answers your concern of why don't we share the scorecard for the technocrats. In our communities, once you are suspected and you're investigated and found out to be innocent, the perception is you are guilty. It's a perception. That's why now you get the complaints over this cow is a thief, but he has been transferred. And if, for instance, it's fraud, which is a criminal, it's not the ministry of local government. You have the IGG, you have the CID investigating. Now, if they find that person innocent, naturally you are supposed to put him back in his job, and transfers are normal. The biggest challenge sometimes we get is someone coming up saying, how do you exonerating Johnny Walala when I know? But you know, where were you when they were investigating? Why didn't you come forward and give this information? So it's a challenge in our community. We have people who say, I know, but I'm not ready to come forward and pin this person. So these are the challenges, but as a policy of the ministry, as a policy of government, you cannot be transferred simply because you've stolen from local government A and there's complaint in local government A, then you go to local government B. That's not true.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll come back to the issue of conditional grants, and also you never tackled my question on the new districts, but we'll come back to it. I thought we would invite Chairman Gulu to say one or two things. Please give him the microphone.
Thank you, moderator. I'm happy to be standing next to Chairman Mao, my mentor, and we call him Chairman Mao, my mentor and predecessor. Moderator, I want to agree with what the chairman of PG said, that there is confusion which is caused by the activities that are not well coordinated by the center. And there is need for the center, and this is not just Ministry of Local Government. Almost every ministry is doing a similar thing. And I'll give a few examples. Last year, Ministry of Health decided to stop the indoor residual spray. Many of the districts that came together during the closure protested and said, look, you cannot close this exercise without designing a strategy that would help the situation continue until such a time when things are well. Unfortunately, that was not taken seriously. The closure was abrupt, and what happens later? About 4 months ago, we had serious malaria outbreak, and Gula alone, we registered close to 43,000 cases, and we lost 40 lives. Actually, over 40 lives. Yes, there are a few things being done. There is improvement, but we have lost lives. It's a very sad, experience. The other thing I would like to give us as an example is the uncoordinated approach being taken by Minister of Agriculture, NAT Secretariat, Operation Well Creation. A few months ago, under Operation Well Creation, government delivered about 2,000 sacks of cassava cuttings. Over 50% got dried and destroyed. Why? I moved around and talking to farmers. They said the timing was poor. These cassava cuttings were delivered at the time when the farmers had already planted the local type they had. So when the deliveries were made, there was no way. And so how do we coordinate well? There is need for the ministry, actually the central government, to work very closely with local governments, have some level of consultation so that things are done in a coordinated way. I want to give another example, which is really disturbing. My colleague mentioned the issue of providing inadequate resources, and Mr. John Genda Walala, who is representing the PS, said, you see, it's important to use the little and use it well. I agree, I definitely agree that we have to use the little well. But let us think deeper and see what little we are talking about. I consulted the chairman of Mpiji. Mpiji has an approved budget estimate of about 19.26 billion. And their local revenue projection is about 340 million, which is not even 2% of the total budget. And that is still a projection. And they're likely probably to achieve about 150 million. What can that local revenue do to a district that has got so much? And so there is need. Much as we have to use the little well, I think there should be deliberate effort, as Chairman Mao suggested, that the ministry has to take it upon itself to make sure local governments are fully funded to do the things that they're expected to do effectively. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. I'm about to conclude. The other thing which I will not forget to mention is that, the fact that we are receiving inadequate resources makes local government unable to sustain some of the projects that we have been able to put. I want to give examples. I talked to the chairman of Amuru. Amuru district alone has over 200 broken or non-functional boreholes. A lot of resources, was injected, but these boreholes are not functioning. Majority of the boreholes have been abandoned because there is high iron content and the quality of the water is poor. Gulu has close to 300. And it's not just 2 districts. All the districts in West Nile, Acholi, and Lao are having the same problem. Now, you will ask me what is the solution. We tried to find out why. And the answer is that the quality of the standard pipe recommended by the center is actually causing us problem. So the solution would be changing all the pipes. How much money are we going to spend to have this rectified? And so there is need for that goodwill to be really demonstrated. Now, finally, Chairman Mao shared some of the tips that has helped our district. And before he left, he led our district to the path of, I would call it victory. We were ranked the best performing district, and we have tried our best to maintain that. But you see, I want to appeal to you, my colleagues. I don't believe that we need to develop this culture of being problem-oriented, lamenting every time. Because there are things we can do without the center. And I want to share briefly some of the things we have done and what we have learned from Accord. One is the level of creativity that we have developed. I heard a councillor saying that, you see, it's difficult to move to this point. And when Chairman Mao was still chairman of Gulu, we sat down and he said, Speaker, I was his speaker. And he said, Speaker, how do we work towards helping our councillors move and monitor effectively? And we came up with an idea. That time, all the district councillors acquired motorcycles, their own. And this term, when I took over from him, again, all the district councillors acquired motorcycles. It's about sitting, planning. Above all, it's also about caring, because you have a team, and if you want to build this team, you need to serve them so that they can move and do the things you expect. Again, another example, which falls under the creativity I'm talking about. Last year, I sat with the cow and the rest of the team and said, how do we improve communication and coordination? We realize that departments are using so much money to buy airtime and all that. And sometimes people spend a lot of time moving from as far as 50 kilometers coming to town, and they don't find somebody, and they just want to come and consult. Something that can be done using the modern technology. So we sat down and did a simple calculation and said, what if we introduce the closed user phone group? How will it help? And we calculated and we realized we would be able to use not even 30% of what we were using the previous years. And so we initiated. And right now in Gulu, every councillor, every CDO, every heads of department, driver, other support staff, head teachers, health centers, and they have a closed user group phone line that you called, and you don't need to put airtime. It was a negotiation between the local government of Gulu and MTN Uganda, and we pay per line at 5,000 per month. So we pay for a line a full year only at 60,000. From over 600,000 that you would use for a year, you are now using 60,000. So we need to be creative. Yes, it's good to point out the things that, but there are opportunities that we have.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, quickly.
Finally, when I took over when Chairman Mao took over, he found Gulu at the level, we were generating about 120 million as our local revenue. And he said, Speaker, this has to change. And we started seeing how we can do that. And from the time he was leaving, Gulu was generating 500 million as local revenue. And as I speak right now, this financial year, our local revenue projection is 1 billion shilling. How do we do that? We have embraced a private-public partnership. We are working, and also partly to motivate our staff. You can imagine, we have entered into partnership with different groups. Some people are saying it's difficult to attract people to come and work. But in Gulu, people want to come and work because through partnership, in the next 10 years, we are able to send 40 staff, our technical team. Any of them who would be interested in going for further studies, we entered an agreement with UMI for postgraduate courses. Now, that pulls people to come and work. So how do we build a system that motivates people, keeps the team together, and we develop that mindset of creativity so that we are able to tackle some of the challenges that we can do? Otherwise, Mr. John Genda Walala, we appreciate the struggle you are making together with the ministry. But I think there is need for us to have proper discussion on how first we can strengthen the level of coordination and communication, and also how we can tackle the issue of funding. Because I think it should not be treated as a favor. We are doing the bulky work, and we should be treated well. My colleagues, I really want to end, but I also want to emphasize the importance of making the population involved in the things we do. How do we create a society that is informed, that is involved, and can participate in the things we want to do? In Gulo, when we are having budget meetings, we make sure it's live on air, so that the citizens are able to listen. They know what we are talking about, how much money, but also they are able to know that councillor who do not want to speak. And when they go back, they are able to ask and say, by the way, we did not hear you speak. So you have to account.
Thank you,
there
Chairman.
are things we can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. That is really interesting. And yes, being very innovative. Thank you so much. I really want also to get to hear contributions from the Speaker of Moyo. So we'll come to you, Chaiga Martin. But I thought it would come back here, and I know you have the microphone, so you wanted to share one or two things, Chairman. Just before the Speaker, I'll get Chaiga, I'll come to you. Yes.
Thank you, Maurice. There was something which was echoed by my colleague, the chairperson of MPG, on hiding information, and Honorable Mao talking about corruption vis-a-vis the reforms in local government. It is a clear policy of eyes on, hands off for technocrats vis-a-vis politicians. But several policies have been formulated in terms of financial accounting and regulation. He talked of integrated financial information management system. There is integrated personnel payroll system. There is TSA, that is treasury, single treasury account. All these are computerized systems. Now there are two major challenges. As they install the tools at the district premises, they only cater for the technocrats with those tools. And chairmen, their respective ministers, name it, cannot have any access of monitoring, because the passwords and all the issues are now cocooned in the entire technocrats. Then two, which is a very big problem in local government, of course, bigger districts have well-experienced cows. With due respect, reforms of accounting are entitled to a specific qualification in information technology, kind of skills. And you find that some technocrats who may not qualify to do the job cannot publicly say so that we are failing. And what they do, they now assign some duties to their juniors who are young enough and who are well conversant with the IT. And at the end of the day, we have realized a lot of corruption which is going on. And suffice to mention that we are not part and parcel of monitoring, since we are not connected to the systems. And then two is now, when I talk about qualifications of the public servants, especially the chief administrative officers, there is, a global kind of speed in reformations and, transformations. And we are following the traditional system of who qualifies to be a CAP. And I would request our court to assist us to engage the local government ministry and the public service to re-evaluate the required qualifications for the administrators. Because, for instance, now we are privileged in Uganda. We have only one university, south of the Sahara, with a donor program of local governance and human rights, which addresses matters of decentralization over the globe. But that program has taken more than 10 years, but it's not a requirement for any cow to be with that kind of background. And you find that so many changes are coming in, but less, utilization of the human resource capacity, because the traditional, managers in the local government ministries want, to dominate that. Then, as I'm winding up, this is a special appeal to all of us, ministers of local government. We, in the practice, the Minister of Finance and Parliament, the issue of taxation. You see, the real service delivery is done by local governments. We have companies, we have petrol stations. The big chunk of indirect taxes collected by Uganda Revenue Authority. We are left with vendors who are selling tomatoes. And those companies and factories, when they are demanding service delivery, they come at the district. Yet the big chunk of money is taken at the center. And in fact, that is the money which goes to cater for these unviable districts. And at the end of the day, that's why we are saying that Wakiso is now picking a lot of revenue without really knowing that much of the money is taken by the center under Uganda Revenue Authority. And if you even push more that we have made some regulations and amendments to go in for these factories, then that is double taxation. So you find a lot of conflicts. And I would request our code, now that you've done a very good job, please assist us to have a forum. Assist us to have a real forum on advocating the real devolution of power through having real regional governments. Real regional governments. I was in Kenya, in Mombasa, because a district chairperson is an equivalent of a governor of Kenya. These are people who are coming in aeroplanes, paraded. They are doing, so well that you even shy away because you know that even your pickup home is not fueled, and you are equal to someone who has been flying, to the destination of where the workshop is. And in Kenya they are moving at a very fast, speed, because there is real devolution of power, as opposed to what is happening in Uganda.
All right.
And Wuluga again.
Yes, very quickly.
Wuluga is part of, is partnering with Accord, and it's doing a good job technically. But politically, we are very deficient in Wuluga. In fact, it is now an extension of politicking there. And we are now remaining powerless because we don't have any advocacy forum of these issues. It is now a survival instinct in Wuluga once you become a manager there. And I would also request you members who are here, it's not selfishly to mention, Public Accounts Committee in Parliament is very effective, because it is headed by members of the opposition who are not seeking to be, to catch the eyes of the powers that be. So, likewise, I would also comment that members of the opposition should at one time be given a chance out of the 111 districts, because they are very few, to become Wuluga presidents, and you will see some changes as an advocacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I know that Walala wants to make some reactions on the Local Government Act, but I also know that we'll come to the Speaker of Moyo. Plus, I also thought we'd need to engage Dunstan Balaba, who's the chairman of the cows, to help us understand or share with us the challenges of cows and how they're overcoming them. But that and so much more in a moment. If you're just watching and you've just joined us, you're joining a live discussion here, a live debate, the first multi-district leadership forum that has brought together 5 districts here in Uganda, here live in Arua district at the Arua District Hall. We're taking a very short break. We will be back and hear more on local government. Do stay with us.
The GoTV moment.
Watch all your favorite entertainment on GoTV. Enjoy Ebi on Z World, Ebi Nigeria on Africa Magic Family, Africa Magic World, and Africa Magic Epic. And sports on Super Sports Select 1, Super Sports Select 2, and Blitz. Renew your GoTV monthly subscription. Pay 28,000 Uganda shillings for GoTV Plus and get over 32 local and international channels. Or pay 20,000 Uganda shillings for GoTV Value and get over 20 local and international channels.
GoTV, live it, love it.
He has got the talent, he's created chart toppers, and has a cool name to go with it.
I went forth and released another Joe cover. I love to inspire. I'm not a star, I'm just a rising star.
I'm not a star, I'm just a rising star.
News Updates is brought to you by Salolin. Color your world.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, yeah.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching our live discussion from Arua District Hall for the first multi-district leadership forum that has brought together 5 districts of PG, Wakiso, Nebi, Moyo, and our host district, Arua, here live at the District Hall. And we are discussing matters local government. Now, I wanted to introduce one of our legislators who's been here with us, has listened into this discussion. So allow me to welcome the Honorable Christine Abia to share with us one or two things, because several things have come to play, including the law, and also including the involvement of area members of parliament in their local government affairs. So please come. You have a microphone there, Honorable. Yes.
Thank you very much, Maurice and the team here. And first of all, welcome to Arua. Those of you who are coming from outside the district, Karibuni. I passionately listened to the panelists here and from the crowd here. First, I need to say something about the differentials in leadership between the technocrats and the politicians that is causing some unprecedented conflict. You have a scenario where a sub-county chief, for example, holds a master's degree, and the person who is overseeing the sub-county chief stopped in senior 2 or P6 or senior 4. So you have a clear-cut differential in the levels of understanding. And we have, as a governing council of this country, tried to appeal to the president and the lawmaking body to say that scale up the quality of representation. But that is to no avail. So how do you oversee your boss who is so highly educated and your level of understanding still is a challenge? So this differential needs to be looked at very, very critically. Because there was a clear statement here that information is power, And you cannot be powerfully informed unless you attain a certain level of education. That is a given. And I had my friend here say that the women's position is supposed to be an affirmative one and it should be reviewed. I totally agree with you. But the question is, you are talking about a woman MP who has been in parliament for 5 years and is now a commissioner, and you are not hitting a president who has been there for 30 years, and no man is supposed to stand against that kind of head of state. So which equality are you talking about? So when you are reviewing the representation, nobody in this country runs a district bigger than Abia. My district is 27 sub-counties. I have 196 parishes. Who runs that kind of district? And we are resourced the same way. Now tell me, you will come to assess Abia, who is a mother, whose husband probably is sick, and the children are sick, is pregnant on a border, the car has broken in a certain trench, and you're going to evaluate MP Abia with the municipality MP who is on tarmac throughout. What kind of evaluation line is this? You're having a sub-county, a councillor representing the district, who has 3 sub-counties that are equivalent to a district in some regions. And you're here in Arua. Pawar, Ogoko, and Rhino Camp. That is a district, for example, like Mitoma, and he still is a councillor. So are you credibly evaluating these councillors given the scope and mandate that they are given? These are key issues that if we want to address certain challenges that we must confront. Funding. For example, a youth MP. Why do you think a youth MP is invisible? Because you will run a region. But in the end, you will have to go and carve out a small area where you will pitch camp. That is it. Does that therefore build the capacity of leadership among young people? Or it is just a deterrent that you know that I will go for 1 term and after that I'm out? So when we are evaluating the leadership, we should look at, first of all, the logistical, the educational, and the environmental architecture around the leaders. And that is only when we shall be able to evaluate our women particularly with a sincere eye. Now, when it comes to resource challenges that my friends have talked about, I want to bring to the attention of this country the specific challenge of what we call the border districts. Look at a district like Arua or Kisoro. You'll have your funding for HIV and AIDS. You are providing antiretroviral treatment, but your neighbors are eating into this, and there is no special action, either from the refugee organizations or any other development partners, to put in another antiretroviral for a refugee who is here, for a refugee who is using our water, for a refugee who is part of the disease burden of the district. Can you be fair enough to say that Arua has marginally performed when actually our resources are being shared by 3 countries in 1? And so unless we go into the nitty-gritties of understanding local governments via location, via the resource inputs, we probably are doing some artificial evaluations that are not going to necessarily change the lives of the people that we have. Now, when I look at some of the identified challenges here, for example, on the young leaders, people with disabilities, and all these affirmative action, whatever, and service delivery in general. What is service delivery? In short, it is putting resources in the right places at the right time for the right people. But are we as a government doing that? I'm very glad you brought the idea of creation of new districts. I am a member of parliament doing the 2nd term there. Arua has remained big. Kasese has remained big. Why? I and Winnie Kiza are FDC. So the distribution of the resources comes on the political trends. You cannot develop a country and you cannot unite it when you see it from a direction that you are either yellow, blue, green, or red. It will never happen because you are disenfranchising people. You are not building a nation, you are disintegrating a nation. That is what it is. So the question is, if a district like Arua is equated to one like Mitoma, and a district planner will get the same, it is the district. The title is a district. A district electoral commission will get a vehicle for 3 sub-counties. Then Arua will get 1 vehicle for 27 sub-counties. And you expect clear, free, and fair elections monitored. Are you sure you're doing the right thing? Now, Let's come to the role of Parliament. What are we doing? It is very right that Norbert has said that some local governments are having better quality than the institution called Parliament. Look at the quality of Parliament. Come to Parliament and hear the quality of debates that we have. You can find somebody coming. You see, they said I was not going to be an MP. Am I not here? You see, now that is the quality of a politician. Huh? And you want to rate that MP together and in the same vein, like Abia, it can't happen. So we must do the right thing and say, are you going to vote for issues or you're going to commercialize politics and vote for money? The day you vote for money is the day you will know that there will be a deficiency. At one point, they will say there's a moratorium on districts. At another point, it has been unveiled, and we're creating more districts. We're giving a municipality for somebody who knelt and said, no, thank you, we shall have a sole candidate. Are these issues, are these the people issues, or these are just political gerrymandering that is attracting votes? And you, the voter, what are you doing? Are you voting for money or you're voting for the issues? These are fundamental. Irrespective of whether you're yellow, green, blue, or what, are we electing leaders who are issues-based or we are voting for money?
Thank you, Honorable.
So,
yes.
The ball is right back at us.
Squarely at us.
Go home, reflect. What kind of leader are you? Are you the leader who is commercially recruited, or you're a leader who has been recruited via issues? That is why I remain the only woman MP who is in the position in this region, because it is money first before you cast the mandate. So, sell your vote, expect the leaders you have. When they go to Parliament and you break in new constituencies, they are the leaders you deserve because you didn't do your part to agitate for issues other than money. My appeal to the entire country now, and Maurice and to Accord and everybody, the development partners, is unless you fix the politics of this country, you cannot fix the progress of this country. You will continue to undermine development because most of these choices and decisions are made at the political table. Take the women there, consult the women, engage us. We will redirect this country. Examples are enormous. URA, Kajina did excellently well. Today, our call is here. She's fixing UNRWA. The next time Abiy is president, probably, there will be another.
Amen. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much. I am not using this platform, but finally, thank you and thank you. I hope you will enjoy Arua and have the best of your travel back home. Remember to pick the best things that we do here. We celebrate the Kitenge wear. Please do that and go back to your lovely partners with a gift from Arua to reflect on this day. Thank you very much.
And some of us might stay instead. Okay, Speaker Moyo, Chaiga Martin, yes.
Thank you very much, viewers and NTV. Maurice, you probably could have seen I was very impatient. This is because Moyo has quite unique issues. Actually, at many times, we, the people of Moyo, had sought the audience of the president, but we have not been available. We are still seeking for the audience of His Excellency. We have quite unique issues. Listener, you will believe that quite many issues in this countries, in this country, Uganda, are not well done. Take, for example, the issue of hard to reach. I'm talking about districts that are not easily accessible, that are also hard to stay.
Walala says there's no hard to reach place in Uganda.
I will come to that.
Okay.
Look at, for example, Arua. When you drive from Kampala to Arua, this is over 400 kilometers. And you drive on tarmac. Now, when you drive from Kampala to Moyo, to Azumane, you will find Azumane where you will reach fast is hard to reach. Now, Moyo, where you will cross the river, climb mountains, moreover on Antamak Road, is not hard to reach. Now, what is the implication of this? The implication of this is that we, as local governments, have failed to attract and retain staff. And also look at the qualification that is required, for example, of a district engineer. A district engineer has to be highly qualified, a registered engineer. Now you bring such a personnel, you want to recruit such an officer in Moyo, where it is hard to reach, hard to stay. Moreover, is supposed to be highly qualified. This is very, very, very difficult. And this must be the problems of districts like Amoro, like Lamo, like Moyo. And I think Mr. Walala Sulu believe and bear with me that these are issues for attention. First of all, how do you allocate, what is the criteria for a district to become hard to reach? What do you look at? Why do you give special favors to other districts which actually are not hard to reach and neglect those that are hard to reach? And this is a very important issue for this government to look at. And I think on behalf of the people of Moyo, I want to loudly pronounce that we actually appeal to the government to include Moyo district, including actually Yumbe and Koboko on the list of hard to reach. Secondly, we have the issue of border. Viewers, you will believe with me that in this country, certain issues are not given attention. Actually, you will see the border issue between Moyo district and Kajukeji County in South Sudan. If this was in other parts of the country, you will see immediate intervention. We have lost lives. You have been seeing these things on the TV. We have lost resources. We have lost animals. We have been displaced. Up to now, the people in Moyo are not settled. But the government does not intervene immediately. Actually, I want to say here that even the security personnel, which were supposed to protect the people of Moyo, decided to protect the people of Kajukeji County, who happily resided, sought refuge in Moyo, lived and prospered in business there, and turned against the people. Now, there is this border issue just between Moyo and Yumbe, between Amuru and Ajumane. You saw the people, the women of Amuru decided to undress. And the government is like, say we shall solve this issue later. Now, there is attention there. There is attention. Actually, the Yumbe district has pushed more district local government deep, about 15, 20 kilometers. Arua is crying about Ewanga, and the government does not intervene. And this is a very big issue in Moyo, and I think it needs dire attention. Let me also mention the issue of hepatitis B.
In a few seconds, yes.
Quickly. Yes, hepatitis B is a disease in almost all the countries of northern Uganda. And this is very difficult to diagnose, actually very difficult to test and treat. You need about 2 to 5 million shillings if you are diagnosed to be possessing this illness. And the government should intervene. And the case is worse in Moyo, in Yumbe, I believe, in also Arua. This is very important. Maurice, I want also to remind the viewers and indeed all of us about financial losses in local government arising from court cases. Actually, I want to believe that there seems to be connivance in the legal fraternity where lawyers connive to defraud local government. It is very rare to see local government winning a case. And we have lost so much money. This could have arisen due to the negligence of personnel, the cows, or politicians. So I think there should be a kind of immunity in as far as resources, attachment of resources of local government is concerned, because these belong to the people, not the officer who has erred, including district vehicles. This is a very big problem. As the district of Moyo, it has completely brought us down. Finally, I want to say there is this program of SAGE, the elderly persons assistance grants. The ministry has been coming here, calling us for workshop, asking us whether they should roll it. This is a program for the citizens. Why should a ministry come and begin consulting we leaders whether they should roll this to our districts? Why do you take this to a few districts and then neglect the others? This is self-explanatory.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really would have let you go on and on, but we have run out of time. Dunstan Balaba, please. Yes. We really wanted you to share with us your challenges as cows, but how to effect service delivery.
Thank you, Maurice, the panelists, participants, and the viewers. Yes, there are very many challenges, first by the chief administrative officers, but usually I don't want to dwell so much on challenges, but what is it that can be done? I think that would be my basis of the few things that I'll talk about. But even before I say that, I want to bring hope to all those who are listening to us that decentralization is working. There is hope that the service delivery is improving and will continue improving. Because when you look at the discussion here, everything is, this one is not good, this one is not good. I want to tell everybody in this country that local governments are doing what they can within the available resources. To me, that one is very, very important. The issues of staffing in the local governments, yes, it is true. It's one of the big challenges. But I want to assure the whole nation that government is doing whatever it can to ensure that every district can be staffed. The only challenge that is in there are some local governments that had money for recruitment and they did not recruit. They did not recruit because of one reason or the other. It is also not easy to attract. But like Mr. Genda Warala put it, it is a perception. I cannot work in this local government, I cannot work in the other local government. We are also failing to attract because those who are qualified, at times you find it difficult to go to local governments where all the time people are fighting. There are conflicts. So if I wanted to deliver, why should I go to a local government where all the time you hear the chairman is on this one, the car is like this, everybody, the district is on fire, vehicles are being taken away because of court cases. So it's a very big challenge, but it's a perception issue. Then I also wanted to talk about the transfer of chief administrative officers. It is not a disciplinary action, like Mr. Genda Warala put it. Cows are supposed, we agreed, the minister agreed, that at least a cow, the minimum number of years should be in a district is 3. Then after that, a chief administrative officer can be able to move. There are those who have stayed 1 or 2 years for one reason or the other. Because of these other squabbles that we get. And I remember the chairman in Project can be witness, I told the local governments, the more you continue fighting amongst yourselves, the more powers will be removed away from you and taken to the center. We want the powers, but let us use our powers very well. This morning I am going to throw the powers that are for each of the organs, the council, the executive, and everybody. If we can be able to use those powers, then we can be able to move very, very well. On service delivery.
Yes, very quickly.
Many people are looking at local government as service delivery units only, and not to make money. So government has reviewed the policy. We have now added one objective of decentralization, and that is the local economic development. So that we can now be able to engage ourselves in the local government, so that we can be able to make money. We now want to move further. We are pushing that the whole law of the Local Governments Act be reviewed so that the local governments can be as economic units, be able to make money so that, yes, we get money from the center, but we need to make our own money, local revenue, because that is where we have the discretion. Without that one, we shall continue looking at the grants as if they are coming from heaven. And on discretion, as my last point, government is reviewing the grants that are coming to the local governments. I think with effect from 2016-17 financial year, the discussions that are ongoing, there is going to be a lot of discretion now given to local governments. Some grants are going to be merged, but discretion will be given to the local governments as to what to select to do, especially for development. And that one would be also another step where the increment of the share of local governments from the national resource envelope will also increase. The NDP too has put 20% that by 2020, the share of the national budget by local government should be about 20%. Woroga and the Local Government Finance Commission have proposed the 38%, but you see it must be gradual. It must be gradual to not be done in one day. But the most important thing, unity. We needed to have a unity in our local governments. Chairman Mao talked about partnership. Even at district level, create partnership. the chief administrative officer, the COW, the RDC, and all the councillors must be able to form that partnership. A partnership that is going to look at the vision and the mission of the district. Where do you want your local government to go?
All right.
All of you can be able to understand. You remove that local government into that direction.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Balaba.
you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. Now, I'm comfortable to say that since most men have spoken, I'll take some ladies from the audience. I want the ladies first because I want to be a little gender sensitive. Please, if you want to raise a question, you'll mention whoever you're asking the question on the panel here, but also tell us who you are and where you're from. So I will come. I have two ladies here who are very close to me. Please, you'll speak from where you are.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to observe the protocol. By names, I'm Rokon Jane Bachimva, District Councillor representing Ofaka and Anyirbu sub-counties bordering Nebi District. My issue actually goes to Honorable Abia. Though she has not been on the panel, I'm relating it to her because she's our women MP representing Arua district in the parliament, and secondly, on the opposition side where checks and balances are. I wonder why she's lamenting with us here on the issues of women, because we ably represented our issues through our woman councillor representing Nebi district in this forum. Why I'm saying this is, if you are there for checks and balances and you are together within the same table with the president, why could you not push our issue concerning the affirmative issue, whereby we are suffering locally here? This is our main issue. And you ably said you are upcoming to be the future president, whereby we shall elect you. But may you, before you become the president, may you, in your right, as you talk now, you are the district woman MP, may you really take our issues. Because you are somebody who is educated, who can at least argue with those ones who have masters and PhDs, but at least you are going to argue on our behalf. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Protocol observed. I am Dr. Natalia, Councillor Arua, representing two sub-counties. That's Ajia and Arivo. My first issue is about women affirmative action and the women issues. One in education.
I don't know if I could take it if you abandoned me in public again. I did it before. It was because Renato hired me to do it. But he's not here anymore, so I don't see why I have to...
Informant?
ekifo ekimu kissa wamusu n'ekyalo ekiweddeko abamanye bakiraza mumwa. Tugenda kutuuka gy'oli oyogere naffe ebikwata ku kyalo kyo, embeera mw'okolera, ebyobufuzi, ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nnyingi. Ebyogerwa tebiyita. Tuusa eddoboozi lyo, yogera naffe buli lwakuna otereevu ku NTV Akawungeezi.
Oba onyumirwa ebyemizannyo jangu nkulage.
Gentlemen, Jesus came to set you free and to be free indeed.
In life, you don't wait.
Yeah.
There are certain times where you wait for certain decisions. But
he actually asked me a question, whether I wanted to live or to die.
Every day of my life was struggling. It's just that God has given me this kind of hope.
GXP every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station.
Look at all the juices that are in there, and that is what I'm looking for. My goodness, look at that.
We transact every day, and for centuries, currencies have changed hands. Business is a must, and that is why Money Matters makes it a must to talk business.
It's the biggest market out in Uganda because of East African connections and business.
From farming to business trading, we give you all the angles.
When you're harvesting, that one is the most important part, which really have to be there.
We'll bring you all the details that doing business has to offer.
Thoughts of the business leaders in the market.
The airline industry doesn't operate like any other industry, where you go in and buy a shirt and this shirt is 20 shillings today and will be 20 shillings tomorrow, 20 shillings.
The analysis of the costs and the income in the industries. From wherever we are, we talk business, and at Money Matters, where money indeed matters. Business is a must.
So, don't miss talking business with us every Thursday only on NTV.
You don't have to look any further. Get online and you'll get any property.
It's all about joinery. How best do you give a tree a very good second life?
Because there's already development happening around.
Say, for example, carpets, thick, luxurious carpet, and you say, I've got to have a carpet wall-to-wall in my house, but we're a hot country.
Welcome to the Property Show, where we make real estate sense.
We could do this all night.
What show just won Best Entertainment Program?
Log in for the glitz and glamour of Kampala's most flamboyant people and events.
I'm here today for Coco Fingers video shoot.
Big up NTV, thanks for the support. Log in, do I know the runs is Kakasa.
You're Golfy and you're watching Login.
Don't touch that dial, you know what I'm saying. This login.
We could do this all night. We could do this all night.
You can bring everybody in parliament as long as they can wake up and vote for their name.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
I know him. I know how he operates. I know how he thinks.
There are ways you can go around these obstacles.
Why should I conduct myself as if I am a Muyai?
It's absolutely true. I admire the President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fiscal code targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only the two individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security of this country will largely depend on the contribution that the people make.
Suraj, please help me out. Babu was accusing you of some necklace that has gone missing from the house.
Santha, what you intend to do and what you don't, I don't have the patience and the strength to understand that anymore.
All these allegations were leveled against me. Then, how can I feel happy today? My reputation was maligned by everyone.
I firmly believe that she's a liar. She's not innocent.
Leave her hand right now! I will not.
I will make their life miserable if anyone tries to touch or see my sister. Got it?
I will not listen to you. No way.
Oh no! What should I do now?
Made for each other, every Monday to Friday, 6:30 p.m.
Welcome to Cinema Blitz, the one-stop show that brings you the latest movies in 3D and high definition. My name is Patrick. Let's get started. Disney and Pixar have collaborated again to bring you a 3D animation movie that explores how children deal with emotion. In this movie, we see joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. Of the 5 emotions in Riley's mind, joy is the dominant one. She tries to discover the purpose of sadness.
Take it back, Joey!
Hurry, Joy! No, wait!
Some of the voice talents in this movie are Amy Poehler, Amy Carlin, and Lewis Black.
So, Riley, how was the first day of school?
Fine, I guess.
Did you guys pick up on that?
Sure did.
Something's wrong. Signal the husband.
Looking at us. What did she say?
Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What is it, woman? What?
I'm joy. This is sadness. That's anger.
What?
This is disgust. And that's fear. We're Riley's emotions.
What was that? Was it a bear?
There are no bears in San Francisco.
I saw a really hairy guy. He looked like a bear.
This place is huge. Imagination Land? No way. Dream Productions? Rainbow Unicorn. She's right there. I loved you in Fairy Dream Adventure Part 7. Okay, bye. I love you.
focus on what's going wrong. There's always a way to turn things around. It's broccoli.
Congratulations, San Francisco. You've ruined pizza.
Who's the birthday girl?
Brain freeze! Hang on. Riley, here we come.
Paramount Pictures brings us the 5th installment of the Mission Impossible franchise called Rogue Nation.
Ethan, where are you? The syndicate is real.
The IMF agency has closed down, leaving Ethan Hunt jobless. But there's a new threat causing terrorist attacks.
An anti-IMF.
If you're still doubting why you should watch this movie here, we have big names: Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Tom Cruise. Let's watch this trailer.
The IMF is uniquely trained and highly motivated. Specialist without equal, immune to any countermeasures. But it is an agency of chaos. The time has come to dissolve the IMF. Now I want you to choose your next words very carefully. Where is Hunt? Last I heard, he was tracking the syndicate. How come the CIA has never discovered any intel regarding this syndicate? You want the polite answer or the truth?
We've never met before, right?
Follow me.
Benji. Ethan, where are you? The syndicate is real. A rogue nation trained to do what we do. An anti-IMF. They're coming after us with everything they've got.
You ready? This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
So what's the play?
For more movies like this, come to Cinema Magic Nalia for an awesome experience. My name is Patrick. Catch you later.
ekifo ekimu kissa wamusu n'ekyalo ekiweddeko abamanye bakiraza mumwa tugenda kutuuka gy'oli oyogere naffe ebikwata ku kyalo kyo embeera mw'okolera ebyobufuzi ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nnyingi ebyogerwa tebiyita tuusa eddoboozi lyo yogera naffe buli lwakuna butereevu ku NTV akawungeezi.
We transact every day, and for centuries, currencies have changed hands. Business is a must, and that is why Money Matters makes it a must to talk business.
It's the biggest market out in Uganda because of East African connections and business.
From farming to business training, we give you all the angles.
When you're harvesting, that one is the most important part, which really have to be there.
We'll bring you all the details that doing business has to offer.
Thoughts of the business leaders in the market.
The airline industry doesn't operate like any other industry, where you go in and buy a shirt and this shirt is 20 shillings today, it will be 20 shillings tomorrow, 20 shillings.
The analysis of the costs and the income in the industries.
From wherever we are, we talk business, and at Money Matters,
Where money indeed matters.
business is a must.
So, don't miss talking business with us every Thursday only on MTV.
Welcome to Cinema Blitz. It's the one-stop show that brings you the latest movies in high dimension and 3D. My name is Patrick, taking you through this awesome experience. Movies on genetically engineered killing machines have been all the rage from the last 2 decades. The display of calmness, fighting precision under gunfire has kept audience thirsting for more action. If you watch the movie Hitman, then you know what Agent 47 can do for you. Now, the hunt is on for the maker of these elite assassins. Nothing beats a battle scene with a 3D action laced with slow motion. From the makers of Kingsman, you remember that the Secret Service and Taken 3, Liam Nason comes in as a kick-ass science flick that will make you not even stay at your home there. Come watch this movie here at Cinema Magic. Nalia.
I know you don't have any reason to trust me, but you're in danger.
What do I have to do?
Run!
Do you remember the day they took you? We were part of the same program. They want what's inside our DNA. Speed. Intelligence. Strength.
Okay, untie me.
You're the same as me. So untie yourself.
Tell me how to make an agent.
You don't want an agent. You want an army. They are the key to everything.
The gift is not just surviving. You see everything.
Run.
We're gonna burn this program to the ground. I always close my contracts.
In 2005, Fantastic Four came to the silver screen, an adaptation from the Marvel Comics. We got to watch Jessica Alba as Sue Storm and 3 other astronauts use their newly acquired superpowers to save the Earth from destruction. Well, these characters are back again.
Dr. Storm, we gave you 6 years and millions of dollars, and you gave us nothing. What's different now?
Reed Richards. All I want to know is where are my children?
4 have survived. All exhibit unique physical conditions.
I just want to fix my friends. You can't fix this.
You should use these powers to help people.
You opened a door you don't know how to close. You don't know anything about what's coming. What is coming? Doom.
If you want to stop him, it's going to take everything you have.
How long until he's in?
2 minutes.
For more movies like this, come down to Cinema Magic for the best experience in 3D. My name is Patrick. Catch you next time on Cinema Blitz.
Raise the praise. Get inspiration. Rise up every morning with a song of praise to the Lord. A day in your courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere. Soul Moment, every Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
Mu bonyumirwa ebyemizannyo jangu nkulage.
Johnson, the boyhood Newcastle United man, Derek, flying in the face of beat. Love the come on the beat.